What's up, guys? Robot here, and welcome to the first episode of Nerd Talks, where we talk about life and the world that surrounds us. So, to make this sound not boring, I'm gonna invite a few of my real life friends into this podcast, so it'll be a little bit more entertaining. So, everyone, say hello to May. Yeah. So, May, tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm in robots class, and I'm gonna be his co-host for the podcast.
All right. So today's topic, this week's topic, February's coming to a close, and we just want to take this time to celebrate Black History Month, like celebrate all the Black people, what achievement they've made, and what how many barriers they've broken. So the first topic we're gonna talk about in today's podcast is racism, and as a as a way to like start things off, I'm gonna introduce Tyrone and Jamal, two friends who are Black people, and right, Tyrone, Jamal, glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So, Tyrone, as a black person, when you went outside into the streets, have you ever experienced any racism?
I have. Every time I enter a store, they give me dirty looks.
And so, Tyrone, when you face discrimination in the streets, how do you resist that discrimination? Does it affect your mentality or anything?
It, well, it doesn't affect my mentality because my good friend Jamal here, he always tells me that at the end of the day, you know who you are as a person, and what other people think of you shouldn't matter to you.
Very true. And Jamal, do you have any advice to our listeners, how they should react if they ever face discrimination?
Ku Klux Klan was really devastating to our time, but we have to live on. We have to face new challenges, new goals, and just keep our morals, what we grew up with, and get past it.
And May, do you have any question you want to ask our buddy Tyrone here?
Yeah. So specifically to Tyrone, I noticed you were talking about how you were like taught as you grew up. Did your parents ever like tell you specifically how to be safe in situations like when you were young, even when that's something a small child shouldn't worry about?
Did you did you like how do I say this? Did you like learn from experience like you learned like what you had to do to like resist discrimination? Did you learn it by yourself?
I have actually. I learned it with my good buddy here Jamal. And every time, like I said, we walked into a store, so we both know that they're staring at us, we're watching our every move. So we just learned to be careful. No, not to be careful, but like not to look suspicious in a way.
Yeah, we take the looks and put it beside us, and
Yeah,
just
put it all on.
know deep down inside that we know where we came from.
And we're better than that. And we would never do that.
Very true. And so Tyrone, Jamal, thank you for being on the show. We really enjoyed all the advice you gave us.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We would love to be back someday.
Yeah, thank you. It was a pleasure. Hope everything goes well with the podcast, and as Cameron said, hope to be back.
So that was an interesting interview, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to like elaborate on what they said. Racism has been like plaguing the world since like before, like even before Columbus, like since the time the Europeans have colonized Africa. That was when slavery first started, and then by the time slavery was abolished in most places of the world, that was when racism first took place onto the world and started plaguing the world with this like terrible disease.
Yeah, and even though racism ended, there was still a ton of racism going on against black people or people that weren't white. And there still is, honestly. It's not as much, but there's definitely still a lot of internalized racism, or in specific states, there's more racist
Yeah,
people.
like indirect racism, like say the murder of George Floyd. You had like the Derek Chauvin murder an innocent black man, because of seemingly his skin color. So like the thing that I don't understand about why people are racist is that you're judging someone by the by the color of their skin. Like what Jamal said, it's not their the color of the skin. It's not the physical features that like define them. It's the content of the character. Like you could say
Yes,
that
exactly.
yeah, you could say that nice generous black man, you call him racist, while you have a radical white man and you call him a patriot. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, and that's something I see a lot, honestly. People who like just like the thing that happened January 2021. Yeah, January 2021.
It was like
January 6th.
January 6th, 2021.
Yeah, when
Capitol
white
Hill.
supremacists basically stormed the Capitol,
Yeah.
basically saying they were saving the country, when in reality, that was an illegal act.
And yeah, they want to like what was it again?
They wanted to
Like
get,
overturn the election, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that's really important is to like teach people about what's right and wrong, especially in school, because like imagine being a child of a parent that went to the attack on the Capitol, and like being taught that that's the right way to think, that that's the right thing to do, not realizing that it's affecting so many people and it's hurting so many people.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about the other side, like being the son or daughter of black parents, and your parents get abused or attacked on the streets, they get discriminated. That can affect the mentality of that child, which can cause them to possibly even kill themselves in a suicide attempt.
But like you're right. No, you're absolutely 100% right about that.
Yeah, and also this is another reason why I admire Black History Month so much. You got like all these black leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Maya Angelou, Nelson Mandela. They all believe in something other than discrimination. They all believe that just because they have a different skin color, it doesn't mean that they should be treated as different human beings. They all like how would you say this? They all broke barriers. They all like
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say.
No, I get what you're saying. You're kind of saying that, like, if they weren't alive and they didn't do what they did,
Yeah.
then things would probably be exactly the same as they were in the
world-
1960s or
yeah,
the
the world would be
1950s.
completely different.
Yeah.
Like you change one thing in your timeline. Like I heard it was when Martin Luther King Jr. was taken to a church when he was a child with his father. You take that moment away, and I can guarantee you things will be a lot different right now. And going back to the what May said about white supremacists during the time like when people chanted BLM in the streets, Black Lives Matter, white supremacists will like come up with the alternatives, all lives matter, to like undermine the meaning of Black Lives Matter. So like, how about this? Like to understand what this really means. It's like listeners, like you can take out a piece of paper, pen right now maybe, and then what you could do right now is draw as many bars you want, like at least 2 or 3 bars. Draw them like equal sizes and make sure they're exactly equal on that paper. Do it right now. And so now, each bar that you just drew on that paper represents each diverse life that exists on this world today. You got Hispanic life, Asian lives, you got Black lives, like and so many others more. This is what all lives matter should be. This like every life that exists on this world should matter equally to each other. Now, choose one of those bars and cut it down by half. This is what this is how it's like right now. That that bar that you just cut down is the Black Lives. That means that not a lot of people think that Black Lives matter, and this is what Black Lives Matter actually means. We want Black lives to matter equally as the other lives. White supremacists argue the opposite. They think by Black Lives Matter, they uh, the thing actually means that Black lives should matter more than the other lives. It's just completely false. Of course, we want other lives to matter, but you can't have all lives matter until Black lives matter, and that is something that I just don't understand. Like how some people just don't get it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what is the weird thing about people who say all lives matter, is that it's basically false, because they think that like all lives matter sounds like it's a good thing, and it is a good thing. But if you say that, that's not actually what's happening right now. If you're not doing anything to help minorities that are being discriminated against constantly, then that doesn't mean all lives matter. So right now, all lives don't matter. So that's why people say Black Lives Matter, and Hispanic lives matter, and Asian lives matter, and like blah 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 blah.
Yeah, basically, like, if you want all lives matter, you gotta have Black Lives Matter more than it is right now. And so this is why I think like the black leaders of the past, like Martin Luther King Jr. and Maya Angelou, Nelson Mandela. This is why I think like they are so influential. Like they did what other people thought they couldn't. They like made changes to our society, and right now those changes are still going on. And so right now, this ends our podcast for this week. I hope you learned something new and slight changes to our podcast schedule. We're not going to upload every Thursday because that's just like too much pressure for me and May right here. So what instead we're going to do is like twice a month. And if you have any topic you want us to talk about, just like comment your topic suggestion in the comments or in our studio. So that's all for now. And next podcast will be on March 11th. And if you watch the news, you might know what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So we hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys have any feedback or suggestions, positive or negative, we'd definitely like to hear it.
I feel it's kind of short. It was kind of short, yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can improve next time.
All right. Bye.
Bye, guys.